Hey guys, welcome into Jewel School. I am Laura. Thanks for being here with me today. And today we're going to make a necklace. It's one of my favorite styles of necklaces to make. It's long, it's streamlined, it's simple, but it's colorful. Today we're using the points, the pendant points, and then I'm using the donuts, the multi-stone 10mm donut shaped beads. They're really, really cool. You can use them as a bead frame, or as a connector. And we're kind of gonna use them as a connector today. And then we are using, tool-wise, we're using chain nose, round nose, flush cutter, the trifecta, and then we are using our one-step looper. I've got some chain here. I prefer kind of like a slimmer, more streamlined chain, but you guys can use whatever chain your heart desires for this demo. I've just got a couple pieces here. This is actually like kind of scrap pieces, so this is a good way if you've got kind of weird amounts of chain left over that you don't know what to do with. This is a good demo to use some of that. Wire-wise, I'm using 20 and 26 gauge. I've got the wire in the show. First thing I did was cut my chain. So you know me, I don't really ever measure my chain, but this is, I wanted a longer necklace. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter than that one. So just cut it kind of where you want that. We're gonna add some length with that section of the multi-stone rondelles, but cut it kind of like where, right, a little bit shorter than where you want that donut to hit, right in the middle there. So I've got that cut, and then I've got some extra pieces of chain that I'm going to use to cut my lengths of chain to dangle those pendants off. And I really just eyeballed this. I did not, and I'm going to do that again, I did not measure this out at all. I just want like a nice little variation of length along a medium and a short. So I just make it up. So we've got, I would say inch and a half, and 2 inches, maybe 2.5. I may have to cut that long one a little bit shorter. And then I've got a little bit left over. So if you want to do more than 3, you are welcome to do more than 3. Okay, so I'm gonna use this little guy. I just like the color combination. It kind of goes with the earrings that we made on Monday. It's a pretty color combination there. So I've got a head pin. I had a kind of a hard time getting a head pin in here, especially on my second go around. So we're gonna see if we can get a head pin in here. If not, we're gonna wire wrap it. It's because I'm going from the inside. If you're doing a head pin the like typical direction, it's not hard to get through there, but I'm going the other way. There we go. This was a little bit more about like the angle that I was coming in at, like through the bead. It was a little bit hard for me to get that stiff wire down in through the middle of the bead. So I got it on one side, and then I had to wire wrap the other side because I couldn't get the other side through, but we're gonna try. And then I'm going to make a loop with my one-step looper. I'm using the medium size one-step looper because I'm attaching quite a few things to this loop, so I wanted them to have room to move around kind of, and not get kind of all tangled up there at the top. So we've got that loop made. Let's see if we can get another head pin through the other direction. If not, we're gonna wire wrap it. Let's see, I don't think it's gonna go. Nope. So we'll wire wrap this side. So really easy. I just got myself some 20 gauge wire, just a couple inches here, and then wrapped it around my donut. Crisscross up at the top of the donut. And then I like to point one of those straight up and then come around. That is a short tail and I can't get a hold of it, so I'm gonna use my pliers to wrap that around my donut. Just a couple times, and then we'll trim that tail off. And then I used my one-step looper. Because we've got 20 gauge wire, we can use our one-step looper. We don't have to make a closed loop. So right above that twist, I'm using my looper to make another loop up there at the top. So this I'll use to connect my chain and my beaded section, and then the other one we will use to connect our pendants. So then I need to, we're gonna attach our points to our chain. And this, I was talking on Mondays, these open. So you've got a closed side and an open side. Sometimes it can kind of be hard to see which is the open side. So just be careful when you're pulling these open. And then we're gonna drop our chain on there. And these, the wire that they used is silver, so I am mixing silver and gold, but it's such a teeny tiny little amount of silver that you can't really tell. You don't really notice it. So I'm just prying those open, adding my chain, and closing it back up. And we'll do this one tan or yellowish color, and then we'll close that up. And now I'm just gonna attach these to my donut. So I'm gonna open up this head pin end and then slide these guys on. So I don't ever slide mine like long, medium, and short. I always, because I don't want them to hang like that, like stepped like that. So I'll do long. This is gonna twist around on me and they're gonna keep falling off. So I will do the long one, and then I'll do the short one. If this doesn't fall, oh my gosh, I'm gonna scream. If this doesn't fall off, and then I'll do the medium so that they hang in more of a cluster and they're not stepped out like by their lengths. And then we'll close that up. Whew, got them on there. Okay. So next we are going to make our little section of our rondelles, and I just wanted to add just a little something extra. So you can make this section as long as you want or as short as you want, or you don't have to do it at all. You can just attach the long chain straight to that donut piece, but I wanted to give it just a little something extra, and I liked the asymmetry of just doing it on one side. If you are a symmetry person, then do the same, the same amount of rondelles on both sides. I like the oddness of only having it on one side. So I've got some 26 gauge wire here. I tried to use 24 gauge with these rondelles and I couldn't fit it through most of them. So you're gonna need 26 gauge. I would not make this necklace with 28 gauge just because it's long and it's going to be moving a lot and there's a chance it could get caught on something, and I just want something a little bit sturdier, and so 26 gauge is what I would go for making this necklace. I've got the wire in the show for you. I've got a set of wire that's got all the cool gauges, 22, it's got 20, I don't know, it's got 20, 22, 24 and 26, I think, in the set. So we just made a loop, and I went ahead and closed it off because I've got that open loop above my donut. So just go ahead and close that off, and then we'll string some of our rondelles on here. If you don't know this stringing trick, a real easy way to do that is to pull several of them off together in a line, like keeping them as tight as you can. And then if you get lucky, sometimes your wire will go straight through. I did not get lucky this time, but I've still got them positioned in a way that I don't have to search for the hole. So it still makes it easier to string. But every once in a while, the universe lines up for you, and they all you can get that wire through all of them in one fell swoop. It's not looking like that's gonna happen for me today, but that's okay. These are super irregular, so that might have something to do with it. But just having them in your hand like that helps the stringing go a little bit faster. So don't pull these off and lay them in a pile, or you're gonna be like hunting for drill holes the whole time. Oh, what happened to that one? Here's that black one. So I just did like 3 or 4 inches of this. What is going on? Here we go. Make sure you're getting, you know, a good variety of color in your segment. That way it's kind of drawing out the colors from your little cluster down there at the bottom. Do a little bit more. You've got your grays in here, you've got a lot of clear crystals, which is super useful. You've got labradorite, you've got peridot, champagne quartz, all kinds of cool stuff. And then I really wanted to get this like rose colored one. There we go. That'll be our segment there, and just kind of pull that straight. And then we are going to make a loop up here at the top again with our round nose pliers. Now before we close this loop off, we want to make sure we're adding one end of our chain here. So just find the end of your chain and string that on before you close your loop off. So we've got that on there, and then we'll close our loop. Trim that tail off. Make sure you're not trimming your loop, which you guys have seen me do multiple times. And then we are ready to come around and attach both of these at the top of our donut. So we'll go in with our chain nose pliers and we'll just open up that loop that we made. And then we're gonna attach our chain. And then we're gonna bring the other end around and attach the loop from our beads. And then we'll close that off. Just make sure that you're getting your loop closed nice and tight so that 26 gauge doesn't slip out of there. And then we have a cool, fun, asymmetrical, just kind of a funky little necklace that's gonna look great. I was talking on Monday about making things that look good with neutrals, and I feel like this is a good necklace to wear with neutrals because it's just got a lot going on. It's got a lot of colors. Oh, we ended up pretty close to the same length there. It's cool. It's got a fringe feel. I love those pendants down there at the bottom, those pendant points. And you can make several different color variations because you get so many colors in these pendant points. Again, those are JMO 365. I've got 200 of those left. So grab those while we still have them. I love them with that multicolor rondelle strand. They're just cool. They're very like hip and edgy, and then you can kind of bring them even more to life with some little extra stuff up there at the top of your necklace. Hey guys, thanks for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's demo. If you need any of the tools and supplies that we used today, check out the links in the description below. And while you're down there, I want to know, do you prefer long layering style necklaces, or do you like shorter collar style necklaces? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos. Bye y'all.